and welcome to AccuQuilt Live. I am Erica Botker, AccuQuilt creativity expert. I am not the lovely Pam Heller. She is off exploring Paducah, Kentucky today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Thank you for joining me today. I am joined here in the studio with a great team, starting with Miss Emily over here. Hello, Miss Emily.
Hello, Erica.
I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Me too. I'm so excited we're getting to work together.
You don't let me come do this very often.
I know. It's like you know, the cat's away. What are we going to do?
Pam's gone. What shall we do? So, the first thing I get to do that I don't normally get to do is see where everybody is watching from. Oh, hello, Pat. Let's see. Share, good morning, good morning. Ooh, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Ooh.
Corvallis, Oregon. Fort Myers, Florida. Fremont, hello, Amanda.
Oh, hey, Amanda.
Georgetown, California. Oh, I thought it was Georgetown, Colorado. That's one of my favorite places. I love that. South Carolina, Missouri. So many places. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
All right. Did you have a chance to look at all of the projects at the beginning? We're going to highlight a couple of them. I hope you didn't miss any. They're fabulous. They were all wonderful. Let's take a look. This one was made by Madeline D. I love this. As soon as this came up on our rehearsal, everybody in the studio went, ooh. This one is great because it combines, I think, piecing and applique.
Yeah, the colors too are just are stunning.
Isn't it fun?
I really want that in my life.
Yes, yes, it's really fun. All right, the next one up is from Sharon W., and it's her cute car project. That is adorable.
Sharon,
okay, now I want a red and white gingham car.
Seriously?
I mean, seriously, to drive a red and white or red and white polka dot. What do you think? Gingham or polka dot, Emily?
Oh my gosh, I think I'm a polka dot gal myself.
Yeah, I can see that.
We could have like coordinating.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You can
ooh.
do gingham, I could do polka dot.
That would be fun.
Ooh.
All right, and lastly, we've got a fantastic patriotic project. This is from Sue E. Thank you, Sue. This is wonderful. I love this. Again, we've got some applique combined with piecing. Totally could make those pinwheel blocks from one of our cubes.
Absolutely.
And then they've appliqued those stars. We have a Go Stars die. I love that. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. I loved seeing all of the projects. Well, today's show is all about embracing our sewing curves. And I'm here to show you how to sew together a block using curves. That's our Go Cleopatra's fan die. And here's the block that it makes. It's a really pretty block. They're nice, easy curves. We're not going to be afraid. This is a no fear zone today. All right, Pam left us a photo of the day. And the minute I saw this, I thought of you, Emily.
Oh, Erica, that's
Look,
so
it's a
sweet.
vintage gown.
I love it.
I know. It
They're
just screams Emily, doesn't it?
They're so flowy and long and I
Aren't they
love
cool? So this is a vintage pattern. And the question of the day is, how many of you quilters are like me and come from a garment sewing background? Because that's how I first learned. I did try to make a quilt at a very young age. It did not go particularly well. But I had no idea about seam allowance or any of those things. But I still have it as testament. So I learned garment sewing. Emily, you're just learning sewing as a quilter, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Before I started at AccuQuilt, I had no idea that quilting was such a huge community and so welcoming and such a fun hobby.
Isn't it?
It really is.
Isn't it?
Yes.
You know, I went back to I hadn't sewn any garments for a long time, and I went back to make a robe for my daughter several years ago, and I went, oh, I have to cut, it was like, did I used to crawl around on the floor and do this? Oh, no, then I found, well, I'm going to put it on the table. Well, I'm going to use a ruler and a rotary cutter. I'm not going to. And then there were notches. We're going to talk about notches today.
Thank goodness for notches.
Quilters, have you seen the new Go Birdhouse die? We're in love with this die. It is part of the die to try. It is the die to try for April and only available at AccuQuilt.com and only until this end of this month. So be sure to pick one up today. Isn't it cute?
It's so cute. And Erica, what's so great about this too is you can get that birdhouse with the mat for the same price as the actual die itself.
Shut the front door.
Yes, you can get it for $69.99 with the mats and call it good.
Well, that's a no-brainer, quilters. Just pop that in your cart. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. And I love having the pieces. We've made such fun ones. There's fun embroidery. It's a really cool die.
It really is.
We've got such cool projects made with it.
So cute.
All right, quilters, they're gonna make me keep moving here. You can take $200 off of a Ready, Set, Go or a Go Big electric fabric cutter using the code CUT200 today. Now, this is the perfect time to get started. You can learn to sew with quilting, or you can switch over from garment sewing, or maybe you've already got a Go and it's time to upgrade to that Go Big. If you can cut with the push of a button, you should totally be doing it, right?
Absolutely.
Plus, we've got free shipping when you spend over $100 or more if you live in the contiguous U.S. No code needed to redeem the offer at checkout. Emily and I, we are here to give you ideas of things that might just fit the bill for you today. All right, quilters, today I am going to be giving away one of our Go Cleopatra's fan dies. So be sure to register for future events on the AccuQuilt event page for your chance to win, because that's how you do. By registering, you receive event emails, and that way you'll never miss an exciting tutorial. And that's how you get registered for us to pull your name, and Emily gets to announce the winner at the end of the show.
Sure.
It's the best part of her job. All right, we want to take a look at the die. So let me move my water. There's our block. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's our die. Now, you're going to see it's on a 10 by 24 cutting board. That means it's going to fit through your Go or your Go Big fabric cutters. And you're going to want to make sure that you've got a 10 by 24 mat, because you got to cover all the shapes in order to get all your pieces. So this die is a block on board, or a bob die. And if you're new here, that means that all the pieces you need to make an entire block are on one die board. It's kind of magical, and it's an AccuQuilt innovation. Each of the shapes on the die are screen printed for easy placement and to help you keep track of your pieces. Now, the shapes have specialized dog ears. You're going to notice these as you look at them. These are key. They're so cool, and we've built the 1/4 inch seam allowance in. Now, the other thing you're going to notice right off the bat when you look at this is all of these little notches that the die cuts for you, right? That means you don't have to be scared of curves. Emily, I don't know if you know this, but quilters are afraid of curves.
I'm afraid of curves.
See, we're going to get over that today. If I have to get you up to the sewing machine, we should do that sometime. But that's what those notches are for. Now, if you are a garment sewer like me, you know that that means taking your scissors and turning yourself right side up and upside down to cut those notches, right? The die does it for you. And those notches are going to help you line up those curves perfectly. We're going to get rid of the fear of curves today. Now, this great block finishes to 12 inches, and it would be great for a table runner, for a wall hanging, for a pillow. It is a showstopper of a quilt block, I have to tell you. All right, we've got other events coming up that you won't want to miss. Join Pam and Lynn and me on Tuesday, that's May 3rd at 12 noon Central Time. We're releasing our newest die to try. So be sure to register for the event. That's how you have a chance to win prizes. All right, so I know what you're thinking. Let's get started, Erica. So let's do it. Now, the first thing we always tell you is read the pattern. And the pattern's going to tell you that it's important to fan fold your fabric on your die so that you get mirrored images. Now, we're not going to do, Pam left me nicely cut rectangles, so I'm just going to lay them out. There we go.
And I love how they designed the die so that all of the pieces that are in a certain colorway lay out together.
Isn't that great?
It really,
really is.
Yeah.
So we're going to lay these out. We're going to put our mat on top so that we can get our cut, and then we're going to get the right cut. Now, you want to lay your fabric down so that your lengthwise grain is always going lengthwise through the cutter. So that tight grain, that tight part is going to be parallel to your blades as you're going through the cutter. And that's really a key to using all of our piecing dies. All right, are we ready? Now see, we've got one side up, one side down. Or you could fan fold and make life easy. Or if you have somebody like I did today to prep your fabric for you, you go with what they gave you, right? All right, so let's go ahead and cut this. Emily, do we have garment sewers?
We surely do. Maureen actually started learning apparel. She made her kids' clothes when they were small, and then also made a patch quilt when she was in Girl Scouts.
Oh, God bless Girl Scouts, right?
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. And then
Who else?
Susan is a garment sewist, first started in 2nd grade, and she's a pinner just like you.
Yes. That's how you know the difference, by the way. If you don't know the difference between somebody who learned in garment and somebody who learned by quilting, watch them and see if they use pins. That's how you know the difference.
Interesting.
I didn't realize that either. And when I first started working here, my friend Madeline was working on designing some dies. And she would like bring me in and say, okay, like sew the block and see how I interacted with it. We do weird things in testing sometimes. So the first thing, she had a curve for me to do, and the first thing I did was go, well, where are the pins? And she goes, why? And I said, because I'm sewing, I need my pins. All right, we are gonna get our mat off of here. Oh, that worked beautifully. Get our extra pieces off, and we can take a look at our pieces.
As Pam would say, slide, don't lift.
Slide, don't lift, give it a little love. I know. Probably if I don't say all the right words.
Your fabric is so cute.
Isn't this adorable?
It's just so much fun.
I love this. You know, the other nice thing about this is we are giving you several different looks today on set.
Exactly. It's so fun to see how versatile this block can be.
It really is. It really is. So, I mean, we've got some very modern fabrics on our table runner that you saw in front of us. Emily's got solids behind her.
I surely do.
I've got solids mixed with batiks here, and then I've got this adorable little print. It's so cute. So a lot of people ask, and I think you get this question a lot, what's the right fabric cutter for me? Well, if you're new to AccuQuilt or quilting, I think the Ready, Set, Go is the perfect way to get started because it really has everything that you need. Just add fabric. What do you think?
I completely agree. Yeah, if you're just getting started out, that's how I personally got started. Because that Ready, Set, Go, it's going to come with that 8-inch cube, which we already know how versatile those cubes
absolutely.
are. It's unbelievable what you
Yeah.
can do. And then it'll also come with that 2.5-inch strip cutter, which is great for binding and jelly rolls, as well as all the cutting mats you'll need.
Yeah.
So it's really just everything you need to get started, like right out of the box.
That's right.
And it's $200 off today with that code CUT200.
That's right, cut 200. See, she's here to remind me of these things. All right, don't forget, today, a little later, I'm going to be getting to give away a Go Cleopatra's fan die to one of our lucky registered viewers. Don't forget to register for future events on the AccuQuilt event page. That's how you get your chance to win. All right, I've got a pro tip for you. Once you have your block cut, leave your pieces on the board because it's just easier to keep track of your pieces because that way you can just look and see, oh, look, this is shape A without putting it out and going, okay, now, which shape is that? Because you know, it's shape A because it came off of there. So we have already gotten a little bit of a head start. Now, this is a mirrored image block. And what I mean by that is we've got the two sides that are mirror images of each other. So that's why you have to fan fold your fabric because you need your right side and your left side. So what I've done ahead of time is make our right side of our block so that we can now lay out our left side of the block. I might potentially run out of space up here at the rate I'm going. Now, I will tell you, follow the directions. I, in fact, printed out the directions so that I would have them and have the order in which you sew your pieces together because, in fact, it matters the order you sew your pieces together in. And I'm going to admit that by showing you my mistake. So I sewed these two together, which was correct, went beautifully. I sewed these three together, perfect. Then I sewed these three together Then I sewed these two together and sewed them on. You want to sew these two together and sew it onto here before you sew it onto this piece so that you get a nice finished edge here and you don't have a mistake and an issue like I do over here.
And I love our instructions too because often they'll come with pictures.
Oh, yes,
How
they do.
They're laid out, which just makes that easier.
Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. So, A is our shape right here, and we're going to sew it to our B. Our B. Where's our B? See, this is why you leave them on your...
Yeah, I also had to learn the hard way about sewing them in a
here it is.
particular order.
Yes, yes. This is why we say to make a test block.
Exactly.
So this is going to be these are the first two pieces we're going to sew together. Yes, there's a curve, so let's talk about it for a minute and gather our nerves. Whenever I sew a curve, and you can see this is not a scary curve. This is barely a curve at all, quilters. You want to sew it so that you have your concave, that's the smiley part, up on top, because I always say you want to wear a smile on top. Okay, we're going to match up our notches, and yes, that, quilters, is where I put my pin.
That's so funny. See, Nancy says that she also did apparel like you, Erica. However, never uses pins. With a capital never.
Never. Never. I don't know. I guess it's just the perfectionist in me. Now, you can, if you want to, add another piece, a pin at the end. I mean, you can put pins wherever you want to. But I sometimes put one here just so that it goes from here to my sewing machine and the points are still together. Now, this is such a gentle curve that it's not even really an issue, okay? So we're going to get this first one sewn. And really, don't feel like you have to manipulate your fabric. It's just going to guide it. Guide it gently. Okay, I'm going to slide over here. My friend Emmett is on the sewing machine to help me today.
That's right.
Because everything is awesome.
Little Emmett is a very good helper.
Emmett is a very good helper.
And we've got lots more garment makers, Erica. This
Do we?
is so fun, yes.
Yeah.
Ada made a winter coat with her mom and then made her own clothes with her daughter for her daughter when she was little.
You know, I feel like if you enjoy sewing, you sew for your kids, and then when they don't want you sewing their clothes for them anymore, or they've kind of, you're not out sewing for them anymore,
Sure.
You need another outlet for sewing.
Exactly.
And I think that's where that tie-in comes. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so here we can see I sewed it. Look, it's barely curved. Look how nicely that falls together. The notches meant that it lined up perfectly, and now I need to press it. So I'm going to turn on my iron. Let me grab it.
Ooh, and are you going to use the new one or the?
I am. I'm going to use the new iron on the set.
That's so exciting.
Is so excited.
This is brand new on our website.
It is brand new on our website, and I kind of kicked my feet and said, wow, because this is what I use at home a lot.
Is it really?
It is. So I have room for many irons in my life. Never did I think that I'd be saying that. That's not a phrase that we all think about.
Right.
But this is great. This size is great for keeping next to your sewing machine when you're sewing and you're doing your piecing. But the shovel iron is my favorite for using when I'm doing machine applique, because it's so much easier to press down your edges when it's inside the hoop that way.
I was going to ask you because as soon as now that we have 2 irons on our website,
Yeah.
it's like, which one do you go with?
Both. You go with both.
I agree.
And the wool mat is a necessity as well. Mm-hmm. Boy, I had heard people talk about these wool mats, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Oh, they are great.
They really are.
So the pattern will tell you, the pattern has some different directions on pressing. It's got some very specific directions on pressing so that all of your seams nest, so that they fit together. And I admit to have gotten a little confused while I was pressing my seams. So I tried pressing them all open and it worked really well. So there's my piece A and my B. Now I'm gonna be, and it's gonna lay right there, okay? I'm ready now for my next pieces, which I believe I've got D and C next. So let's look, here's my D and my C. Ah, there it is.
Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, this is so much fun, Erica. We've got so many great garment makers.
Oh, good, good. Who else have we got?
Miss Julie started with garments, making doll clothes by hand at 7 years old, and then made clothing by machine at age 11 and up.
No.
I don't think I would have been trusted with a sewing machine at the age of 11.
Oh, come now. All right.
I think that would have been a disaster on my with
You
my
know, I
coordinating.
got my first, I was younger than that. I think I was maybe 10 when I got my first sewing machine.
Really?
Yeah, it was a gift from my aunt. 'Cause
Okay.
she sewed and she knew I loved to sew.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of mistakes, but that's how I learned a lot. We don't like to learn by mistakes, but we do.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm using my other piece to lay out my pieces to double check myself, but here are my next two pieces. And again, I'm gonna go ahead, match those notches. My white's got my smile. It's got a little bit more of a curve than my first two pieces. I'm gonna put a pin in the notch, and then I'm gonna go ahead and see how that notch lines up perfectly with the end of the fabric. This is an amazing die, Emily. I have to tell you, this is an amazing die.
Yeah, it really is.
It is engineered so well. So then this one
Yeah.
is gonna fit right down here as well, but even I am not gonna pin this one. I'm just gonna wing it.
See, to me, this block always looked like a fountain, like bursting forth.
This is a showstopper block.
It really is.
It
Yeah.
really is. This is one of those blocks that people look at and go, ooh.
Yeah, like there's something I want to take a second look at.
Yeah.
So Miss Elizabeth is a third generation garment sewer, Erica.
Oh,
But she says
wow.
she loves quilting so much more.
I'm with you, Elizabeth. I do too. I loved garment sewing until I found a different way around it. But you know what? I learned so much, and I worked with costuming, and I learned a lot there too.
Costumes.
Oh, yeah.
Erica,
You have to look at things very differently when you're looking at costumes.
really?
Yeah, and you've got to think about, is it a big stage? Is it a little stage? How close is my audience?
Absolutely.
Do I need to be historically accurate? Do I need to not be historically
Oh
accurate?
my gosh.
All right, so we've done D and C, and we've pressed that seam open. Now we're ready to go ahead and add E, which is going to be down here somewhere. Ah, there it is now.
I love this. So Monreen was kind of begrudged her sewing at first. She was stuck in homemaking in junior high, and it became her life's passion. With a double major in home ec in college and student taught under my first home ec teacher, we went and then went on to own her own quilt shop. Good for you, Monreen.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
amazing.
It is.
I love hearing all our quilters' stories.
I
It's so
do.
much
I do
fun.
too. I knew from an early age I loved to sew. So I
Aw.
get that.
Rosemary says she's so excited by this die. As a new quilter, I've shied away from curves because they scared me, but you make this look easy. I want to try it.
Oh, Rosemary, you want to try this. It is this easy. It really is.
It really is. And guess what, Rosemary? That Cleopatra's fan, it's marked down today to $82.49. It's usually $109.99.
Is it really?
Yep, it's just marked down on the website. So
Oh my gosh, what a great deal.
exactly, and maybe add like a cutting mat or something,
Yep,
and you get
add
it
your
shipped to
cutting
you
mat.
for free within the contiguous U.S. Why not?
Actually, if you don't already have it, this finishes at 12 inches. Get the 12-inch setting triangles with it. That's what you really need. This is a die that really sings when it's set on point. And when we first came out with it, we didn't have those setting triangles.
Right.
It was not as easy. Ah! Sorry. Okay, so we've got our first two sections done. Okay, there we go. And we can see they're going to line up really well. Now it's time to move on. So now is when it gets just a little bit more complicated. But we're going to start with shapes G to shape F. So F is here. F's the big like background piece, okay?
And I like how you've done that by just keeping the fabric laid out on the die, so it's just all ready to go. You have your exact, the letters. There's no question of which one's which.
Do this for your first one, or, you could have a copy of the piece. Now, when you look at our example, you're going to see, now, there are no Y seams here. And I know somebody was looking at it going, oh my gosh, it's not just a curve, it's a Y seam too. Don't panic. We're going to sew these two pieces together right here now. Then we're going to sew it to this piece. I promise, no Y seams. So watch this. Again, we're going to want our smile on top. I'm going to put my first pin right there where our notch is. And then, like I said, I like to get off on the right foot. So I am going to put the next pin over here. Now, quilters, this piece has a little bit more of a curve. Every piece we've sewn has just a little bit more of a curve, but you notice it hasn't been any more difficult to sew, right?
Yeah. Looks pretty easy from where I'm sitting.
It's pretty easy. Just, take a big breath and go.
Oh, I love this. And we've got a lot more garment sewers, Erica. Cindy started making her own clothes at 14 because mom wouldn't buy school clothes for her. So she babysat full-time all summer to buy a new Singer fashion mate in a cabinet. In 1971, it cost $72.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, wow. Could you imagine buying a Singer though at 14? That'd be a pretty great piece of equipment to have.
Yeah, it would have been. Absolutely.
And then Mary's mother taught her to sew when she was young. She always used pins. She made a lot of our clothes, and now she makes clothes for her kids. I love this. It's like kind of the generations are making clothing for each other. This is so sweet.
I didn't learn how to sew from my mom, and my mom didn't make clothes. One reason my mom didn't make clothes for us was because my grandmother owned a children's clothing store. So mom didn't make clothes for us. And my mom also didn't really know how to sew. My grandmother had always been working, and so she wasn't a sewist, although she knew good garment construction.
Sure.
And I learned a lot from her about that. But my mom's friend, who was a home economics major and all that, she's who taught me how to sew.
Yes.
So now we've got these two pieces together. We're going to be ready for the next one. So quilters, we have another question for you. Are you going to Paducah? It's Quilt Week in Paducah. And that means that our wonderful Miss Pam has headed off to Paducah with our producer Joe, and they would love to see you. They're going to be at the Quilt in a Day booth tomorrow, Thursday, from 11 till noon. Stop by and say hi. She would love to meet you. Okay, I need just a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, let's talk about some other folks who really like sewing and creating garments, shall we? So we've got Jean, whose first project sewing a garment was a gathered skirt to a bodice.
Oh, my.
When modeling it, the front came apart. Hate gathering.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
I hate gathering, too, I have to
Jean.
admit. When I was in junior high, the thing that you sewed was a wraparound skirt. Okay, I don't know if any of the rest of you had to sew a wraparound skirt, but I got to tell you, the fear of that wraparound skirt coming apart during the school day when you had to wear it all day, it was real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was my first real experience of realizing that I had a skill that not everybody had.
Yeah.
Because I already knew how to sew on a machine, and most of my classmates did not. Oh, the teacher loved me. I was like an assistant teacher, and I hardly felt like I knew how to do
Oh my
anything.
gosh. Oh, how
Okay, so here we've got our next, I'm sewing these two pieces to their next piece. And again, a little bit more of a curve and 2 notches, so 2 pins and 1 to get me started. I forget what I'm doing here.
But as you mentioned, there are no Y seams in this.
That's
this
right.
die, which is nice. Doris was just making sure in the comments as well.
It's okay, Doris. I promise.
Now, Erica, do you know approximately how wide those strips were that you started with when you were laying out those rectangles on the?
No, but the cutting instructions are going to tell you.
That's true.
The other way that you can tell is to take the die and to go ahead and measure a 1/4 inch on either side. The pieces are laid out beautifully on here. I think you noticed, you pointed that out, so that the colors are all lined up to make it really easy. Now, I am going and sewing this on, and because this has got a little bit more of a curve, you can see it's starting to kind of fight me just a little bit. But you know what? Here's a trick. I'm going to put my, I don't know this sewing machine as well as mine. If you start to notice the fabric kind of puckering up a little bit, first, put your needle down, put your foot up, then put your foot back down. Okay? Notice how it went away? I don't know if you can see it well enough, but that just kind of releases the tension from it.
Sure.
And allows it to lay back down straight and behave itself.
Oh, well, look at that.
So again, anytime you're starting to notice or you're not sure, it's okay to stop. There's no prize. Put it down, raise your foot, adjust yourself if you need to.
Sure.
Put it down, and you can go ahead. And again, you're just kind of guiding it through.
And I'm sure this is going to be very, very helpful for quilters to watch back again. Just as a reminder to folks watching, you know, all of our videos do live on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So if
That's
you guys
right.
ever need to see Erica going through that curved piecing again, that's a great way to check in on that. Because I'm sure folks are going to want to see that again.
Yep. So there, I've got it all sewn. I'm going to go ahead and press it open. Hey, did you guys know we have a blog?
Yeah.
Our blog is a place that you can find tutorials, you can find inspiration, you can find patterns and sewing tips and different ways to use the dies that you maybe already have or some that you might want to get, and just all different ways to use and love your AccuQuilt cutter and dies. Now you can meet our go-getters, there are influencers, a great group of quilters, and get to know the team behind our brand and join in on the conversations the community's having right now. So, there we go.
It's great.
There we go. See? Look how nice that is. Now it's all put together. Now we're ready to sew shape H onto the bottom. And that's what I did here, I think. Was that H? Oh, that was my H. Okay. So the AB unit, which was here, is going to go ahead and go on to this unit. Wait, I've got 2 pieces left.
Now, Patricia's wondering, Erica, couldn't you use quilt block pins to keep the pieces straight?
You could. I don't own any. Do you?
I don't.
I think they sound great fun, and I think that I probably need them in my life,
Probably.
but I don't have any.
Sounds very useful.
I have a birthday coming up. Maybe somebody will send me some quilt block pins.
Exactly. Let's see, would quilt block pins be, well, that wouldn't be the same as
They're
a
like-
clip.
No, they're like pins, and they have usually little squares on the end instead of like our little flower, and then they'll have a letter. So like A, B, C, so you can keep, the face says it all, right?
Mind is blown.
You know what? There are just so many things you can find.
I know, right?
So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna sew these 2 pieces together. We're just chit-chatting and having a lovely time. Brock's behind the producer table today. Every once in a while, I feel like he's looking at the clock and rolling his eyes at me.
Erica, do we know if there's steam in that iron?
There is not today, but it does have that capability, and it will, I will tell you, because I have one at home, I know, it has real power to it.
That's
This is a powerful little iron. It really is. Now, it kind of cracks me up because here, I'll show you. This is where you put the water up top, and then you can see when you push it back in.
Oh, it's
There's
so
a
teeny tiny.
button to push in if you want steam. Here's the little water indicator. When you sit it up, you can see the water indicator. And you have your temperatures right here. This is so handy. I mean, if you're going someplace and there's not going to be an iron and you need to press out clothes, throw it in your suitcase. I mean, this is just a fun little iron. And it's every bit as hot and powerful as your big girl iron.
Well, and this could be fun for like a Mother's Day gift. We've got Mother's Day
Oh, it would be
coming
a
up.
great Mother's Day gift.
And speaking of gifts, we also offer, say like you're not sure exactly what to get the quilter in your life because they just have, such an extensive collection of dies. Now's a great time to look into our e-gift cards that we have available on our website. They can just be emailed directly to the recipient for you, so you don't have to worry about postage or anything like that and waiting for it to come in the mail. And they can
genius, Miss
spend it on
Emily.
whatever they want, You can get,
That's right.
the world is their oyster, as they say.
Well, and if you're not a quilter, you might not know what a quilter would want.
Exactly.
Although I am telling you, if you know a quilter who doesn't have this, who has our system and doesn't have this die, they want this die.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, I've got that. So now look, okay, we're gonna compare how nice this edge looks when you sew it correctly versus when I sewed it incorrectly. So the order you sew your pieces in, much as I hate to admit it, really does matter. Now I'm gonna, again, this is my last curve. It's a very gentle one. We're coming down the home stretch, quilters. Everybody take a deep breath because we've made it. We've sewed these curves with not one tear shed.
So we do have a question, Erica. So Susan has this die but hasn't made it yet. If making a piece, would you do one block at a time or chain stitch several sections from blocks simultaneously?
I would do a test block first.
Sure.
And then I might be tempted to do, say if you're doing the table runner on front of my desk or the one hanging behind you that has 3, I'd be tempted to do the 3 and do some chain piecing.
Sure.
Because you could stack them up, lay them out in order and stack them up.
Oh yeah.
If there's a way to chain piece something, I usually do.
I think that's a great.
And I feel like 3 or 4 blocks is probably all would want to do at a time, but
Right.
I don't know. If you can figure out, if you can do more power to you. Take that as a challenge, quilters.
I love it. Oh, we've got so many more garment sewers too today, Erica.
Garment sewers rule.
I know, this is so awesome. So Miss Annette used to hand cut out the patterns.
Oh,
She was
such
doing
a pain.
garments. Michelle was in 4-H for years and learned to sew clothes, etc. She said she just never loved it, but quilting, there was never a doubt of her love for it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, now we're sewing our sections together. This is very exciting. And we again have notches so that we get all lined up perfectly. You don't even have to pin these notches. I'm putting one in the first one because it's me, and if I didn't pin it, y'all would probably be disappointed. But I'm gonna go just this one. I'm gonna go rogue and press on down to the bottom. Yeah, I feel like it's a great introduction to sewing. I think that it's a great way to get started. You actually have more, how am I gonna say this? Wiggle room with garment sewing in some ways because you're working with a 5/8 of an inch seam with garment sewing.
Oh.
And you're working with what kind of a seam, Miss Emily?
1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
But my goodness, I couldn't imagine though cutting all of those templates out myself. And I mean, it sounds like we have to have a lot of patience for it.
Yes.
But I have all the more admiration for those who do it now.
There you go. There you go. I hate all the threads. Okay, I'm just trimming these because they get on my nerves.
Miss Jane started with garments as well. When she made her first quilt, she used a 5/8 seam on her first quilt. So that, yeah.
5/8 of a seam is to garment sewing what 1/4 of an inch is to quilting. It's just the way it
It's
is.
just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. Now, I want to stop and show you this because it's that amazing. Look at this dog ear. When you sew to the tip and I press it open, it's going to be doggone perfect. Get what I did there? Dog ear, doggone.
I
Yeah,
see what
yeah.
you did there.
Okay.
I love it. Oh, we've got so many folks who are making doll clothes as children and Barbie clothes.
You know, and what were we thinking? Because it's way harder than making big people clothes.
Yeah.
Everything goes into making doll clothes that goes into big people clothes. It's just way smaller.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so now look. Look how perfect. Look how perfect this is. Absolutely. The points, everything. I'm going to go ahead. This is our last piece on this half. Again, we've got our dog ear. It's going to match up with our notch. This is such a great die. Oh my gosh.
There really are. It really is. And we've got so many other great like 12-inch bobs as well that, you know, say you were feeling adventurous or wanted to get to that $100 threshold.
Oh, yes.
There's so many, like the Morning Star is a 12-inch finish. The flowering snowball's a really, really cool one. We still have, the Arkansas Traveler. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, Arkansas Traveler. I love that one.
That one could be very, very fun. But yeah, that's what I love about our bob dies is that there's so many of them and they can coordinate, or you could do the 12-inch setting triangles there's just so many ways to make these blocks stand out and, work in conjunction with each other.
Oh, for sure. Now, and don't forget we've got a 12-inch cube.
We sure do.
And of course, 12-inch setting triangles. Everybody needs setting triangles.
Yes.
I mean, setting triangles basically like changes your block up, completely different look.
Exactly.
So it takes any one block and it makes it into two.
Yeah, I mean, if you literally just got the setting triangles today, they're $109.99, so they reach that free shipping threshold.
Right. So if you've got everything else we've talked about, you can still get free shipping. I love it.
Yep, so nice.
Here again, we're going to show you because again, it's going to come down to the point. The dog ears again. It's a beautiful thing. And we've already sewn half a block, Emily.
Wow. Look how
Cut,
quick that
sewn,
came
all of
together.
that. See? There were curves. I talked and sewed curves at the same time on camera.
Look at us go.
Guys, you can do this.
I feel like I could almost like pick this up and give it a try. Maybe this will have to be my next one on my list, Erica.
I think you should. I think you should.
Oh, I love this. Kimberly's from Kerrville, Texas. I have a very fond place in my heart for Kerrville.
Do you really?
Well, being my last name and all.
Oh, well. Well, there you go. I guess you would, wouldn't you?
But she said she started sewing garments for herself and her children. Even made a shirt and pair of slacks for her husband. I love this.
A lot of people start with like pajama pants. It's way better now. I think in like school they teach you how to make a pair of boxers or pajama pants or boxer shorts or pajama pants or something that's way more fashionable than a wraparound skirt in the 70s. Just aged myself.
Those were perfectly stylish and fashionable.
Having aged myself, I will now point out that Pam and I are the same age. All right, now we've got our two sides together. Again, we've got notches to line up. I'm gonna put it together and sew it off. This block is perfect. We talked about all the different looks that we have just on our set for it today. This is a perfect block to do with AccuQuilt. Have you played with AccuQuilt, Emily?
AccuQuilt has saved the day so many times, Erica. I can't even count. It's ridiculous.
What?
It's just so nice to be able to see those colors,
Right.
before you go and cut all the pieces and buy,
Yes,
even
right?
sometimes before you buy your fabric, like you can download fabric lines right from
Yes.
AccuQuilt. It's so cool.
I made a flamingo wall hanging for my granddaughter, and I thought, this is great. She loves pink, she loves purple. I had it all planned out, and my daughter said, yeah, she's really into blue right now. So Grammy went to AccuQuilt and redid it. There are hundreds of ways that you can change your colors up, and it's on our website. It's free. You can recolorize your pattern. You can use popular fabric collections from many, many great fabric lines, or you can take pictures of your own fabric and upload it and see exactly how your fabric is going to look in that.
Exactly, which I think that's the coolest part.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait.
Ooh,
Okay, big moment.
the moment
Big
of
reveal.
truth.
Ta-da! Look at that. Okay, now, not to toot my own horn, but look, those little points
Wow.
are pretty darn perfect. And quilters, it really is that easy. So think about, I mean, it looks cool set sideways. You can get so many different looks with this. You know, if you like lay it out so that the points are all coming into the center. I need to move my hot iron. Or if they're all pointing to outwards, or if they're on point. There are just so many different looks. I can't stand it. I have to press this
Absolutely.
out. But look how different it looks when you change up your fabric.
It's amazing. It's just so beautiful. And Erica, I actually have a question for you. It's not quite to do with the Cleopatra, but Diane's wondering, when making a block with 9 pieces, do I sew blocks up and down, or do I sew blocks in vertical rows?
I sew horizontal rows. So I sew my rows, my pieces across, and then I sew my rows together.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's see. What other?
Isn't this fun? Quilters, look at this.
Oh man.
How fun, how easy. And what a different look we've got represented. Here, I'll get this off the set.
Yeah, that is just gorgeous.
Look how different our two looks are. They're both stunning. There's no right, there's no wrong. They're just both wonderful.
Oh my
All right, are you ready? Are you ready to go sew with Cleopatra's fan? I hope you are. I hope you are ready to share your creations with us on our social media pages as well. We would love to see them. All right, now we've got some great shows coming up, Emily. We have got Pam, Lynn, and myself on Tuesday, 12 noon Central Time. We're going to be releasing our newest die to try. So be sure to register for the event. That's how you can win prizes. Don't forget, you can also use that promo code. We've got to cut 200 today. It's going to take $200 off that Ready, Set, Go, the best way to get started with the system, or $200 off the Go Big Electric fabric cutting system, because you can. It's a perfect time to get one for yourself, to get started, or to upgrade. Plus, all of the bundles we've released as a part of our launches and relaunches, including that Go Bird and Birdhouse die to try that Miss Emily and I talked about earlier. That's the Go Goose Tracks die, another great block on board die, and the Go Tree of Life. Oh my gosh, this die is amazing, Emily.
So cool.
It is such a classic block. It is such an old quilt block. And there's so many different things that you can do with it, so many different looks, and it's a big 14-inch block. It's really cool. So they're all available at introductory pricing through the end of this month. All right, we've made our block. It's time to announce a winner. Miss Emily, who is the winner of a Go Cleopatra's fan die?
Alrighty, Erica, yes. Can I get a drum roll, please? The winner today is Valerie L. from Haledon, New Jersey.
Oh, congratulations. Okay, Valerie, we want you to open it up and sew some curves and show us on social media.
Yes, please.
All right, now be sure to join us for next week's AQ Live as well. Pam will be back showing you how to make a fun project using the Go Mix and Match 4-inch cube. Okay, they kind of had to lead me through this, but it's May 4th. So we're doing the 4-inch cube, and it's Star Wars Day, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Okay, they had to walk me through it, but I got there. Don't forget to register for next Thursday and Friday for 2 very special extra shows. It's going to be all the footage of Miss Pam and our producer Joe in Paducah, Kentucky for Quilt Week. They're going to show us all about Paducah, the history of the town, what's going on there for those of us who had to stay home and hold down the fort. So be sure to join us then. All right, on behalf of myself, the team that got me through it, the lovely Miss Emily over here, my friend Emmett on the sewing machine because everything is awesome, Brock acting as producer and doing absolutely everything, Miss Chelsea with graphics, and all of those who are moderating. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy sewing, everyone. Bye-bye.